Bank of America being short 800 million ounces. Whether that's true or not, that's a big short position. That's a 1 year full supply of metal or silver. And then you read the Ted Butler stuff. There's lots of noise out there in this market. But for the chairman of the CFTC to go get on to CNBC and say that we've successfully tampered down the market because there could have been, I forget the words he used, but it would have been damaging to the system or something like that if we didn't step in. It was pretty shocking. I've never, being on the public side and being in the public realm as I am, being on a board of directors of public companies for all my professional career, for a regulator to come out and actually say that they care about price of anything is pretty shocking. Regulators are there to protect investors. From fraud and from misleading information and things like that. They're not there to stabilize a price of some trading vehicle. That's not their role. I've asked the question a number of times of myself, and why has the silver price not moved? And because it really doesn't make a lot of sense. Silver is the only commodity that's not reached an all-time high.
Yeah.
It's on an inflation adjusted basis as well. It should, on the last run, it should have gone to, over $150 on an inflation adjusted level, which it never did when gold went to 1900. But nevertheless, look, I think it's going to happen. I coined the phrase strategic metal about a decade ago. I coined the phrase triple digit silver as well, which it sounds crazy. And there are more people that are jumping on that bandwagon because they're just looking at the simple supply demand fundamentals of the metal. And supply demand will take over. It cannot continue like this because unless we just stop producing electronics. If we just stop the world and stop electrifying the planet, stop going green and stop doing all the things that we want to do as a human race, or maybe a asteroid hits the Earth that's made of silver or something like that. I don't know, but there's no silver around or not enough. The reported deficit in 2021 is somewhere around 300 million ounces. I haven't seen the final number yet, but that was a number that came out of the Silver Institute. A few things we do know. The Indians are buying a lot of silver right now, and it's becoming their favorite metal. On a dollar basis, they're actually buying more silver, I understand, than gold currently, which is interesting. The Chinese must have some silver, I would assume. Russians do have silver for sure. You probably saw the photograph. I think Chris Marcus also was responsible for putting this out. But when Putin went to the gold vault, or one of the gold vaults that they have, this is about 2 years ago, and he was holding up that gold bar, with a big smile on his face.
Yeah, I remember that.
If you looked at that photo, looked at the back wall was all pallets of silver.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Which is pretty interesting. So maybe you could find that on the internet somewhere. But I do remember that. I was like, wow, I wonder how much silver that is. So obviously the Russians have some silver as well. Well, look, I'm big into the mining ratio. We're currently, and you probably heard me talk about it. When I put the company together, the mining ratio is around 12 or 13 to 1. It's now at 7 to 1. So for every 1 ounce of gold being mined worldwide, there's only 7 ounces of silver. Yeah, we're trading at 75 to 1. So that should be your base. And that's where the metal silver should be trading at, and it should follow that ratio, from a physical perspective, almost to the T. But you're going to get times where you're going to get overshot. You might see a 2 or 3 to 1 ratio at some point in a really extensive bull market, or in a bear market, it may maybe go to 20 to 1. But those are the kinds of ranges I think it should be trading at, not the current range. When in 2011 we got down to 32 to 1, I believe it was, and that's the lowest we've seen in the last 10 or 15 years. Well, let's do the price prediction first. I think we're going into a market crash, similar to the dot-com bubble that we experienced in 2000. We saw the NASDAQ peak out in March of 2000 at 5,000, and it went down 80%, over the next 3 years. That's what I think we're going to run into. And that lit up the resource sector, as you probably remember.
Yeah.
In 2002, 2002, silver was $5 and gold was 250. Yeah, and it may not look exactly the same, and, it'll be interesting to see, but I think we're due for, you look at the NASDAQ, you look at the breadth of the NASDAQ, and a stat the other day came to my inbox. There's something like 50% of the NASDAQ stocks are at 52-week lows right now, and the only reason why the NASDAQ's not down further is because the core stocks that are in it are being stabilized by large hedge funds that want to hold the market up. That's all going to end, and you never know. Predicting a crash is always kind of a foolish thing to do because you really never know when it's going to happen, and you never know the magnitude as well. But I just think the gold market is so stable right now. It's been, people are saying, oh, gold underperformed in 2021, but sure, it was down a small amount, but it was solid as a rock. It had a very solid trading range, and I think gold showed its strength throughout 2021. And I think there's this pent up bid that's coming into the gold market, and it may not arrive tomorrow, but I think by mid-year I wouldn't be surprised to see gold hitting 1900 and by the end of the year 2100, and I would expect to see silver. Yeah, new highs for gold.
For gold.
Yeah, new highs for gold. 2100 would be my prediction. And silver is always a tougher one. I'd love to say 30, but that might be too aggressive.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information, and it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.